Hello everyone and welcome to Shadow's Edge. We've had quite a few inquiries about how the game can help in times of COVID-19. And so we thought we would do a little demo of how the game works and point out a few things that may resonate in these uncertain times. When you start the game, you land in a place we call disruption. This is when something has just happened in your life and your life has been disrupted by that event. Could be anything from, a daily bad day to really major events. And as you can see in the game, this is actually a lot like what the streets looked like when we just got into lockdown. Except of course here, a storm has hit, so everything is just flying around and time froze just when the storm hit. As you start playing the game, you will meet the character Ty, and Ty will let you in on a little story of how Shadow's Edge came to be, and also why Ty is here and why Ty is alone. Ty got stuck in the elevator when the storm hit, and basically his family has left, and Ty wants you to help bring them back. And you do that by exploring the city and then finding the pages of a scattered journal around town. And you do that by going around town and trying to find what you can see here as the grayed out pages. Here, for example, is one of those pages. And you can see that a lot of the content that we see here, so a lot of these questions that you will be finding on those pages, need to be answered and are very similar to what people are going through now. So for example, when you're missing out, how do you feel? Any new possibilities opening up for you? This is something I could answer now, for example. And as I answer, I can write into it. And I can also talk into it if I want to. I could record what I was saying into this journal. Then I can simply add to journal and it will be added into your journal that you can find here in your backpack. And you can see that not only do I now have a stencil, a reward, but also something has changed in the world. So you can see that animals are starting to come back. And that's basically what you have to do, what your purpose is in the game. You explore the world, you go to different places, to different city areas. And as you do that, you find these pages, you answer the therapeutic questions that are on them, and then you get rewards for that. You also have a direct impact on the world. So as you start leveling up, your city will change and you will have an impact on how Shadow's Edge grows. So you can see, for example, here we've painted, lights have gone on in the window. It looks slightly different here already, and Ty will be showing up and helping around as well. So you can do different things with the tools that you got. So for example, we have here a couple of drawings that people have done here in the game. And I can show you how to paint in just a second as well. So we'll go to a different little area. As I start leveling up, the world starts changing. So for example, here, let's see, I can paint something and I can use colors, pick something, and I can simply start painting. So I've used a spray nozzle here that's a little bit special. If I just really want to paint in things, then I use the normal spray nozzle. And I can also add text to it. So I can type something into it. I can change the font for it, and then I simply add it as a tag too. Of course, I have to change the color a little bit. Orange on orange is not that great. And I could just add to that. I can do the same thing with stencils, with stickers, and as I go through the world, I actually unlock more stickers at the time that I can take, use, position, and just apply here, for example. So the principle is really the journaling and finding the questions and then answering those, and the artistic expression through the form of graffiti. And combine that, both of those will earn you rewards to level up and to change your world, and to also make sure that you bring the families back of the guardians. So this is Maisie, for example. You can see that Maisie has a very different attitude than Ty. Maisie's been here longer. This is disillusionment. This is when what has happened to you now is becoming the norm and you feel like nothing ever will be the same as before. Again, much like what we have today in the world, where we don't know how long this is going to take. We don't know what the after effects are. Even if the lockdown actually eases up, you know what's going to happen in our world. And disillusionment can feel a lot like that. You can see certain things have changed. There's little animals that have appeared here. And where I found the page before, the weather has started to change. Plants have started to grow. And also scaffolding has showed up. So you can also see that, for example, the stuff that was flying around in the storm has fallen down, and there is a slight drizzle, just like dust settling on the situation, basically. Here also I can just tap and go to different areas, of course. So if we go back to downtown where we were before as well, you can see that also here it's a lot lighter, things have changed. Another thing that we have is we have these wisdoms that we've hidden around town that are guarded by these doves. So as you start collecting these, you will see that there's like little mini wisdoms and exercises in there that'll help you with anxiety, with tips and tricks, with breathing exercises and all those types of things. So this, for example, is get a handle on anxiety. Breathing relaxation techniques or changing the words you use are ways to handle anxiety. Find that inner switch that make you feel anxious and flip it so you can relax when the stress is on. These kinds of wisdoms you can then also collect, and you will find them in your backpack within your journal. And there are these wisdoms. So you can see that I found quite a few, but there's also a lot that are not found. And you can see that also some of these really are very applicable to the situation that we're in now. Like, for example, you may find yourself trying to figure out the meaning of life when nothing seems to make sense anymore. Don't we all feel that at the moment? If I now go to a different area, again, let's go back and let's level up so I can show a little bit of the last. So the further you level up, the bigger the steps are as well. So if you go to discovery, and that's sort of the situation where some of the countries are in now, where we're just discovering, okay, what's it like now when lockdown ends and when we can go out in the world again, and when we can incorporate what has happened into our new lives. And so you can see that here the step has been quite big in leveling up, and everything is now lush and green, and the weather has changed and the characters changed. So this is PAX. PAX is a lot more upbeat and will be a lot more motivational, a lot of more positive attitude as well. And so there's a lot of things that PAX will show you about, you know, how to move forward, about your goals, and about what you can do. And you can see that some of these city areas also have changed quite a lot. So we're going into commercial now, and commercial represents your communication to others and others' communication with you, so how they see you, for example. And you can see that here there's a page hidden as well. So there's, like, for example, gratitude and appreciation. Each of these sentences you can go back to. So I can now also go back to disillusionment. I could write something here, even if I write something here, I can come back to it later and I can edit it. I can go back to disillusionment and edit some things. And you can see now that what I did had a direct impact on the world. The light went on, and there's animals here all over the place, and there is a sunflower. Every level you go to, you can also go much higher up, so you can explore more. So as the situation within Shadow's Edge actually returns to normal, that also means that the city here, really, you can get a wider view and you can go up higher, and it just gives you a lot more perspective because you've been living with the situation longer. So again, that mirrors real life as it is currently as well for a lot of people. You can also see that in the back, you know, everything that I've done, everything that we've painted, is still there, and it's incorporated in this new world. So nothing that you do, the progress that you have, is lost. It's really all out there. Another thing that you can do here, and just go back a little bit further, just to get something pretty here. Any wall, by the way, that you can that you see that paint is dripping, that's where you can actually paint on. So there's a lot of walls available, obviously. So here we've got a little bit of a drawing, and I wanted to show one other thing. So as you draw things, you can also share them with other people, and that's a tool called Shadowgram. As we open up Shadowgram, you can see what other people have painted. So you can see these are just some of the screenshots that people have taken in the last couple of hours. Some of them are quite elaborate, some of them are just text. You don't necessarily have to really draw very well. It's all about the message and about what you want to do. And if I then have certain things that I really like, for example here, I can give feedback to people. I can also favorite them. I can tell them certain things to do. For example, here I can, let's see, I have favorited a few here already. Let's see, let's use this as a favorite, and then they'll show up in my favorite feed. So I can start collecting the ones that I like, and I can also share those to my social media. I can share or to email or save them on my phone. I can also share my own creations, of course. And so if I go into Shadowgram and I want to take a picture of this world and I want to post that, then I simply click the plus here. I can add some things, I can look at the perspective from it, I can change some filters, for example. If I take the photo, I can then also add a comment, and I can add stickers, for example, and position those similar to what we did with the graffiti. I'm not going to do this now, it wouldn't be fair to our other players, but that's the way that you can paint and that you can share something. Another thing we have in the game is missions, and these are really always very current. So I've just finished a mission, and we have a new one coming up on the weekend. We usually do missions once a week. And so as we have these missions and these ideas, as we start exploring the game, we will have current events that we're using for these missions and make sure that we have, actual things that fit to what people are going through now. Like, for example, at the moment, it is National Lupus Awareness Month, so we're announcing this on the billboard, and then we'll also have like a photo hunt or something related to that over the next week or so that we can start, thinking about these things. It's not always the case that you have to paint something new. We also have some things in here where it's really just coloring in, just to make it easier for people to get started on something. And so it's really just about relaxing with it, having fun with what you're doing here, positioning and placing things, and then really deciding for yourself, what do you want to do with it? Do you want to share it? Do you not want to share it? Which is also totally fine, but it's really just about having fun with this and being able to vent and learn from what you're going through. So I hope you enjoyed this little demo. I just want you to know you're not alone. We have a full community here within shadowsedge on Shadowgram, and we hope to see you on our community soon. And if you have any questions or want to reach out to us, then please do so at feedback@shadowsedge.com.